The day after Donald Trump's inauguration in 2017, a large demonstration at the Capitol protesting the new president.
One of the largest single-day protests in American history, speaking out against Donald Trump just one day after he took office.
In the crowd was Congressman Tim Walz.
I remember running into him in this huge crowd right outside of the House office buildings, and he kind of just shows up to check it out. I think he just wanted to understand where his party was at this critical moment. You know, the Trump election was a moment of just immediate realignment. And I remember him being kind of reflective in that moment and sort of going, what exactly happened here? You know, I think about the fact that, you know, not too long after he was at that Women's March, he launched his campaign for governor.
We're going to file some paperwork and we'll be right back out.
He decided that the states were going to take a lead role in sort of repelling some of the ideas that Trump was pursuing.
There we go.
And that was one of the points that really led him to think that maybe I'll have more impact if I go back home and run for governor. And, you know, he started to really build up toward that campaign.
Donald Trump has betrayed our values, but the fight back starts here. And I've never been one to just stand on the sideline.
For a decade, Tim Walz had survived politically as a moderate.
The spirit of progressive Minnesota is alive and well.
But now, to win a Democratic primary, he would need to move to the left. He had a major problem: guns.
I'm Tim Walz. I'm proud to stand with the NRA to protect the rights of sportsmen and gun owners.
When he was in Congress, his constituency really supported the Second Amendment. There were a lot of hunters and fisher men and women in his district, and he was one of them himself.
Tim stood up time and time again for the constitutional rights of law-abiding gun owners and sportsmen. It's why the NRA gave Tim an A rating.
Throughout his time in Congress, he had taken liberal votes, he had taken moderate votes, but he had an A rating from the NRA the entire time.
Breaking news tonight, the deadliest mass shooting in modern American history.
In the midst of the campaign, the gun issue kept forcing its way into the news, first in Las Vegas, and then in Parkland.
Confirming that they are responding to an active shooter at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida.
Guns become a core issue for the Democratic coalition. Anyone with an A rating from the NRA is considered to, you know, have a scarlet letter.
Walz was under pressure politically and personally, especially from his teenage daughter, Hope.
He was proud of his marksmanship and he believed in the Second Amendment. What changed is two things. First of all, the people that he represented started to change. Far more voices asking for restrictions on guns, restrictions on Second Amendment rights. And then I think the school shootings struck a note. I remember the story that Hope had come home from school after a school shooting and she was very unhappy, and they have a tremendous relationship. And so I think those two things combined to cause Tim Walz to say, I think I need to go a different direction.
On Facebook, Walz says that after listening to voices across Minnesota, he is now supporting a statewide ban on assault weapons.
What's been the response to your shift in this area?
Yeah, well, I think it's come over time.
On the local news, Walz was pressed to defend his new position.
These are things that don't infringe upon people's rights to keep and bear arms in a manner that allows them to do what they need to do, but it does bring another measure of potentially, and I am not naive, potentially stopping one of these shootings.
It was an argument that landed for people at the time, and I think Democrats were ready to accept his explanation.
Give me the opportunity to earn your endorsement. We will make these things happen in Minnesota.
And it speaks to his skill. I think it was a pretty masterful evolution as they go.
It would work. He'd become governor.